Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you guys once again have found my little corner of the world. For those that don't know, my name is Kristen and I am the lady that is coming to you with all of the positive reinforcement, confidence building tools, morning rituals, journals, anything that you need to help get your week, get yourself up and moving and help you feel good about yourself along the way. So if you've been with me thus far, or if you just found this channel, a couple things to note here. Number one, I'm all about boosting your self-esteem, helping you improve your confidence, helping you remove any negative blocks or negative thought patterns that you're having about yourself. I'm also here to help spread the word. Here on this channel, we're Christian girlies, so you may hear me reference, different Bible verses here and there. But I'm also just wanting to be that friend that maybe you needed in your ear to give you reassurance of the things that you would like to accomplish, your goals, and then also helping you remember that, hey, we're all human and we're here to continue to learn as we grow. And so I'd like to invite you, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out some of my videos previously where we cover topics from perfectionism to aligning your goals with your values. And then I also sprinkle in, some of my career tips along the way. And I'll have a lot more of those videos to come. But for today's video, we are jumping back into our Beauty Becomes Her series. And for those that are new, or this is your second or third time around the block with this particular series centers itself around building the beauty that's within here first before we can get into the glamour, glitz, and all of those things, which I am hoping I can bring some guest speakers alongside me to actually dive into those topics. I want to speak on things that I know and I'm confident about. And one of those things is our topic for the day. So if you have not already, please grab yourself a nice cozy beverage. Today, because it's the morning, I am drinking my positive energy tea. Yes, it is called that. And I'm using my cup, the Essential Worker Mom. Okay. I'm a big deal because I am that. I do have a little 7-year-old, for those that don't know. He'll be on some videos later in the future. But yes, that's the tea and drink of choice. And we haven't done our book of the month yet, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek of what I'm currently reading. And it's called The Fledgling by Octavia Butler. It's a good one. I'm getting further into it. I'm like on chapter 9, so it's a good read, and we'll get into that in our book of the month series this month. So for the month of February, we've been following a theme for the first video that I did on Monday, and that's around self-love, self-confidence, building compassion so you're able to share that compassion and love with others, but then also building that love for your future self, and then also giving reassurance and comfort to your younger self as well. And so with that, we're going to the topic of the day is going to be around positive self-talk. Now, I know that you guys may have heard this phrase before, and I'm actually using my notes here because there's a lot I want to cover. But here, the power of your words, okay? The way you speak about yourself, the way that you speak to others, it is a direct reflection of the actions that will eventually shape your reality. What that means is, if you're a person prior to this video, and there are days where you're speaking very low of yourself, you're saying words that you probably would never say to a friend, and you're speaking that to yourself. And if you've ever noticed, anytime you do that, the rest of your day sometimes doesn't turn out that great, maybe even the rest of the week. Sometimes it just puts a complete dampening on your mood, which makes it hard for you to kind of bounce back and go after the things that are important to you and that uplift you. And so with that, it's important to keep in mind that your internal dialogue shapes your self-image, it shapes your actions, and it shapes your reality. Now, I'm going to actually bring in some science with this, okay? So before I decided to start my YouTube channel, I did some research. I actually stumbled upon quite a few YouTube influencers, and even just really big influencers in the space of not only behavioral mental health, but also self-confidence and reassurance in that way on the feminine side, and also feminine energy as well. And I discovered quite a few people. But there's one person in particular that spoke in a way that brought facts to the light of why positive self-talk truly does matter, and it can actually change your life. Just even if it's just 1 or 2% every day, just the way that you shift how you're speaking, and creates an impact. So that person actually is Joe Dispenza. If you haven't heard of him, please take the time, pause this video, you can come back to it, search his name, and you'll find quite a few videos that are very interesting. And they surround around the topic of success, but then also how to kind of rewire your brain to speak, I guess you can say, to bring more positive reinforcement, and then also to help you accomplish the things that you set out to do simply by thinking in a better way. So one of the things that he mentions is a word and a term called neuroplasticity. And what this means is that it's the ability to rewire your brain based on repeated thoughts. So what that means is if you are constantly saying things like, oh, I'm lazy, oh, I'm always tired, oh, if that's everything that you say, and after that phrase, oh, it's always something negative, your mind is always going to be on that negative loop, and it's going to be hard for you to kind of step out of that and into something that's a little bit more, how can I say this, forward thinking. And one of the videos that you'll actually find in my description section right below this video is one in a conversation he actually had with another one of my favorite YouTube gurus and just positive reinforcement influencers, Jay Shetty, where he mentions that if you simply just reframe or rephrase that in a way where it's inviting, I guess you can say, more growth into you. So like, for example, I'm lazy or I'm tired, you can change that to my body needs rest, my mind needs rest for me to, get up and do the things that matter. That will slowly start to, I guess you can say, not only bring more of a glow to you, but inspire you to pursue your goals in a more positive way without having to, I guess you can say, do a lot of internal negative dialogue. And so that video in itself, I won't dive into it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, is one that I highly recommend, and one that I listen to actually quite a bit on repeat. That one and a few others, but it helped me, and it helped me be able to actually share this information regarding self-talk with you. Now, here are a few other things to note. When you do speak positively about yourself, it does help you reduce stress and anxiety. It helps you build resilience, and that's actually one of my words for the year. And it strengthens your self-belief, meaning the way that you see yourself. So think of it as a way to actually hold up a mirror where it's just you seeing who you are from the inside out. It's a way to actually do that in a more positive way. And here's another example. This is a phrase you may have used as a child or probably are still using it. Let's say you tried tennis for the very first time and you realize you cannot hit the ball at all. And you start to say things like, I'm not good at this. Oh, I suck at this. Oh, this isn't for me. Or you start to say things that are just horribly negative. Try to change that phrase to something that sounds like this. I am constantly learning and improving every day, and I'm learning the skill of playing tennis. I'm learning how to be active. I am learning how to play a sport, and I will continue to improve the skill if that's something that you wish to do. But as I stated before, just take that negative phrase and turn it on its head. And even if, like, for example, tennis isn't your strong suit, or maybe you've been taking a lot of naps lately, maybe there's something a little bit more to it. Maybe your body needed rest, and maybe, again, you're at the beginning stage of learning this particular sport. So you need to maybe just encourage yourself that, there are other people just like you who are just now starting as well. So you're not going to wake up and play like Serena Williams, and you're absolutely not going to have energy like Satan's favorite character, Sonic, every single day. It's just not going to happen. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now let's go into a way where, I guess the biggest question that runs through my mind and that I get asked too is, okay, if I want to start thinking positively or speaking positively, how can I identify when I'm not doing it, and how can I name it? And there are actually 4 major ones that I have been guilty of, and you probably have too. And these are, I guess you can say, short phrase names that I've given them all. So the first one is self-doubt. So when you're going back to the example, I'm not good at this. Oh, I think I'm going to suck at this test. Oh, I'm not going to give a good presentation. It's just being, how can I say this? fair critic to yourself. So that's one of them. The second one is self-pity. My dad, anytime I used to cry to my dad about things, my boyfriend does too, he kind of catches me. And to them, it seems very small or minor. Like, for example, like my car needed a new battery. And of course, it's freezing cold here in Michigan, and my car wouldn't start. And so I started going down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, I'm not gonna have enough money to pay for this battery. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do what I want to do. Oh my God, oh my God. Like, it was just like a lot of self-pity in that way. And what my dad used to call it was Kristen's throwing a pity party. You guys have probably heard that. And I guess you could say a phrase that can shorten that word up would be playing the victim. So a good way to kind of turn that on its head is saying, okay, my car does need a battery, but hey, if I get this battery, my car will be able to run smoother and I can get to work and get home. There are a lot of different things that can come out of it. So turn self-pity on its head, and then also turn self-doubt, going back to my previous example of just rephrasing that in a way that is uplifting to you. The third way that we kind of bring ourselves a negative self-talk is the perfectionist. If you haven't seen my video already on perfectionism and how it's costing you, that one is one that you should definitely watch. But the perfectionist is someone that's never satisfied. So let's say, for example, like I have this cup of tea here, and although when I made it, it was nice and hot, because I've been sitting, writing, and reading, my cup of tea has gotten a little cold. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this tea is disgusting because it's so cold. Or it's, how can I say this? I like my shirt, but I wish I had a long sleeve one on. Or, oh my gosh, I liked my show, but I hated the characters. It's almost kind of like after every negative statement, there's a but and an additional negative statement. So it's almost like you're compounding onto a initial, not very good thought and making it worse. So essentially you're becoming never satisfied with what it is that you're doing. And to be honest with you, it can have a negative impact on your life. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to the perfectionism video, please do that. It's a link in the description as well for that one. And then the last one that I'm guilty of as well is the catastrophizer, if I'm saying that right. So it's a person that thinks the absolute worst in every situation. So for example, if I decided, for example, I wanted to approach my boss to, I don't know, let's expand the office at Kingsway. In my head, before I even had that conversation with him is, oh my God, he's going to tell me, Kristen, that's the worst idea I've ever heard of. Don't ever ask that again. You're fired. That's the absolute worst case scenario. When in reality, he probably could just say, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe we should think about it next year. I have to kind of remember the type of person that he is, but at the same time, reevaluate the idea of the worst case scenario possibly happening. So again, I'll go through those. The top four are self-doubt, which is a person that's being a critic; self-pity, which is someone that's desiring to be the victim in every situation; the perfectionist, who thinks that they're never satisfied about something; and the catastrophizer, if I'm saying that right, and they're always thinking about the worst case scenario in different situations. Now, the next question I get is, okay, now that I understand what it is, what can I do to prevent myself from going down that rabbit hole? And the first thing you can do is thought stopping. So remember, anything that hasn't physically come out of your mouth just yet is just a thought. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's just something that you're thinking about. If you think about it, humans, we have millions of thoughts a day. Like, we're thinking about everything from bills, work, kids. It's just a thought. And you have to, again, fact check it. Fact check that thought. Is what you're saying or you're getting ready to say about yourself something that is really true, or is just something you made up in your head? Because that will help you kind of decipher whether or not I guess you can say either reinforce that belief, or it'll help you backtrack that belief, and you can do the next step, which is reframing it into the power statement. So going back to my example of I'm not good at this, you can have a power to say, okay, hey, it's a thought. I'm not good at tennis. Have I ever played tennis before? No. Am I not good at it, or do I still need to practice? It's almost kind of like backtracking that statement and reframing it again into the statement of, hey, This is my first time playing tennis. I am learning and I'm constantly improving. So just keep that in mind. The third part to this, as far as positive self-talk is concerned, is developing good habits. So if you've been with me on this channel thus far, you will know I'm giving you guys all the tools to do this, because the list that I'm going to share is everything that I kind of do and that I encourage you guys to do. The first one is the morning ritual. So if you've been on a couple of my Rise and Glow series, you'll hear what that is, which is my journaling, gratitude, affirmation, along with a Bible verse and question, which helps me get my morning started in a way where my mind is already moving in a positive direction, that, you know, even one negative thought is going to be overpowered by those positive things, you know? And so the second thing that they said is mirror talks. I know this sounds silly, but if you get up in the morning, you take a shower, you do your hair, brush your teeth, before you walk out the bathroom, just say one good thing that you love about yourself. Whether it is, I love my hair, I love my skin, I love that I'm a good mom, I love that I'm a good woman, I love that I'm a good wife, whatever the case is, just tell yourself one positive thing every day in the mirror for the next week. And you come back to this video and tell me how you feel after you do that. The third thing that they recommend is something I mentioned in my morning ritual, which is journaling and gratitude. We do that. So you can pick up any journal prompts you want to based off of the videos that I've done. You can use a chat AI tool to help you put together maybe a list of them. You can go on Pinterest. There's a lot of different resources to help you find a journal prompt that would fit you and your needs to help you improve this positive self-talk. Gratitude's another one. Now, some people would say, okay, just sit down and write 5 things that you're grateful for. That's a great place to start. But here on my channel, I take it a step forward and I give you a specific thing to express gratitude towards every day or every video that I make. And like, for example, today, my gratitude prompt was, what is something right now in your financial journey that is helping me get closer to the goals that I want to achieve? And I can show gratitude to that small thing, even though I'm not quite at the goals that I want to reach. The next thing is a daily mantra. So one of the things that I do say to myself, and it's just an example, is that I am a great mom, I'm a great girlfriend, I am a great friend, I am a good worker, and I'm going to continue to do those things. And I say that to myself every night as a reminder, so when I close my eyes and wake up, I feel that way. And then, the last thing that I honestly do, or I could suggest in terms of developing a positive self-talk habit, is praying, okay? Like I said on this channel, I read the Bible. It's just me. That's what I do. And I find a verse that sits with me. I think about it. I digest it. And if there is something that is weighing heavily on my heart, I know that the good book, it has something in there that can reinforce or help me reframe my mind and help me provide reassurance that the people that are talked about in the Bible, that they went through those things too. But there was a way to rethink about it in a way that, I guess you can say, lets me know I'm not alone. And so I challenge you, okay? My challenge to you is record, I guess you can say, your top 3 mantras. Listen back to that for a week and drop a comment, afterwards about how you feel once you've done it. And when you do that, I want you guys to continue to remember that your words are shaping the person that you're becoming, and continue to speak life into that person. While also, we'll talk about our younger selves in a different video, but give that reassurance to your younger self that, hey, you went through things, you grew, and there's no reason to dwell on them or continue to allow them, those thoughts from when you were younger, to fester in your mind and create negative thoughts about who you are today. And so with that, I thank you guys so much for listening. Again, check out Joe Dispenza's video in the link in my description. Go back to my perfectionism video that you'll see in the description, and continue to speak positively about yourself, you guys. And if you need any reassurance to do that, just replay this video 1,000 times. I'm pretty sure you'll have the positive reinforcement that you were looking for.